Hi, my name is Stephanie, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video from what I usually film because this is a tag. I figured that I had posted few enough videos that I was still considered a newbie, and I've noticed that most people post this as their first video, but because I already have videos up, that's not going to be the case. I did get these questions from other people's videos, so if the questions are different from what you're used to seeing, I think I may have just watched a different video. And if you're interested in hearing what I have to say, please keep watching. First question I came across was, why did you start this channel? And I started this channel because I want to talk about books, most common reason, like I hear, but two, I was in quite a reading slump. My last job, I had to do a lot of reading of scientific journal articles, which I do enjoy, but did not leave a lot of reading brain power for personal fun books. And so I kind of want to get back into that, and I figured posting reviews of books that I read would be a motivating thing for me to do, and so yeah. Two, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? So I actually think that the subgenre of books that I read is kind of unique because I do have a high percentage of math and science-based nonfiction, which even among the nonfiction readers seems to be a smaller category than I would like, and I'd like to open that up to other booktubers. The other thing is, while it's not a book, I'm contemplating doing a mini-series for journal articles, because now that I am not employed in research at the moment, I can read things, scientific articles that are just for fun, because I like to read them, and I kind of want to do like mini reviews and kind of teaching videos on maybe those topics that interest me, and do like mini-series based on, and I'm kind of really excited about that, because while they're not books, I think they involve reading, and I think there's a spot for that on booktube. Question number 4, why do you love to read? So I like learning, I like knowing things, I like understanding things, and when I see a topic that I find interesting, I want information on it, and so the act of reading, of learning, even if it's like a fiction book and explores people, the way people interact, I find that fascinating. I try to pull something to learn from everything I read, and that's what drives me to read more. Question number 5. What book or book series got you into reading? And I actually don't know the answer to this one because I've been reading for most of my memorable life. I started reading quite early, and I would read just about anything put in front of me, from like the newspaper my dad was reading to like my mom's bookshelf, or like anything in like my age bracket. Like I just read anything. So I don't think there was a particular book or series that got me into reading, because I really just read just about anything when I was younger. Question number 6. What question would you ask your favorite booktuber? This one I know is kind of like a mixed bag, and some of the discussion is already happening, but I'm quite interested in where people stand on the should people only be reading fluff pieces kind of discussion. I tend to read books that I will learn from, and I find that entertaining, but not a lot. Everybody does, and everybody reads for different reasons, and I understand that, but I think that it's an interesting discussion to have, like, why people read. Should we be encouraging kids when they're younger to read outside their comfort zone, and does that affect what they read as an adult, or even like a late teenager? How far should we be pushing people to read outside their comfort zone, basically? And I might actually make a discussion video on that myself. Which brings us to question 7. what do you think your hardest challenges will be? So I do realize that the subset of nonfiction that I read is not that popular. Nonfiction in general is one of the smaller subsets here on booktube, which is fine. People read what they like to read. But I think that breaking through because of the subset might be a little bit difficult. But so we'll see where that takes me. Question number 8. When did you start reading? So I mentioned before that I've been reading for most of my normal life, and don't quote me on the story because my mom told me it. And so I was 3 or 4 when my neighbor had a reading party. So I was living in North Carolina and was part of a pre-homeschool network, and she was a bit older than me and part of the actual homeschool network, and so I was jealous that she was throwing a party, but because I couldn't read, I couldn't attend, and that made me upset. So I went to my mom and asked her to teach me read so I could have my own reading party. So I was either 3 or 4, and so not yet within the actual network. But basically I started reading because of jealousy. Question 9. Oh gosh, 9. Where do you like to read? I really like to read outside and in trees. When I was growing up, every time we moved, I would find a tree that had a place to sit in it that I could climb and sit comfortably, and I would take books up there and just sit for hours reading in a tree. There is no tree for me to climb in this apartment because it's an apartment complex, and I have a lake though near my house with a bunch of benches that are very fun to sit at and read and very comfortable to read in. But when it's cold, I like to sit in the corner of my couch with a blanket and something warm to drink. I think both of those are kind of stereotypical answers, but there you have it. That brings us to our final question, number 10. What do you like to read? And as I've previously mentioned, I like to read math and science nonfiction. I also read of the fiction, I tend to gravitate towards science fiction or fantasy, but mostly science fiction recently. So yeah, I'm looking to expand past that because I know that is a very comfortable reading zone for me, and I want to expand outside of that, which is another reason I'm joining booktube, so that I can get ideas of where people think the best sections are and get like reviews on books that might help me break into other sections of reading. So thank you for watching. If you want to see what kinds of books I review, hit subscribe and the little bell, and you'll be notified when I update one. And have a good day. Bye.